I'm going to talk about ITO, of course, and that's kind of the elephant in the room throughout this. Obviously, if ITO was just a stable market, there wouldn't be much to say. It would be like the carbon black market, or very large but not much going on. What's really exciting here is the fact that there are alternatives. And a lot of what I'm going to be saying today is what the alternatives to ITO look like in terms of their commercial potential and how big those potential markets are. We're going to talk about ITO and indium pricing, a factor that comes up all the time in discussions of ITO, look at our market forecasts, and then kind of split out where the opportunities are by talking about, first of all, the applications and talking about the alternatives to ITO, meaning the different materials that are potential ITO replacements. And then finally, we'll look at some techniques and actually alternative materials that are kind of being proposed as a way of improving ITO. Talk about saving ITO. As you'll see, it's a little less than that. Moving on to slide 5, just to give you a background, ITO, about 3 or 4 years ago when we started covering this area, somebody said to me that ITO is the material we love to hate, and that terminology really stuck with me. There was for the display makers who are the primary users of it right now, they do a lot of whining about ITO, and yet they continue to use it and are very skeptical about the alternatives to ITO. And that image, I think, is one that you should take away with you should be a big takeaway from this seminar, really, that ITO is, in a way, here to stay. It's the little pinpricks that the alternatives can make into this market that are really going to generate the opportunities in terms of new revenue streams. So it's griping, but not much doing. And griping is very understandable. ITO is really not that conductive, certainly not, obviously, if you compare it with a metal. And it's fairly transparent, but it's not really all that transparent, and when you hit it enough times it breaks, and when you bend it enough times it breaks also. In addition, you've got the problem that ITO, which despite its name is more indium oxide than tin oxide, uses a lot of indium. It's the major use of indium, and when indium goes up in price, as it has until about 18 months ago, then people start worrying about the price of ITO. And I'll be coming back to that and talking about that in some detail in a few minutes. So what's the opportunity here? Well, in broad terms, and of course we'll be digging down, I'm on slide 6 now, by the way, there are plenty of faults with ITO, and that seems to create an environment in which there are, or should be, alternatives to ITO. And what are those alternatives? Well, broadly, 2 things. One of them is, and this is the second one on my list, really just finding new ways to do ITO, but do it better. New formulations for ITO, perhaps, and new ways of applying ITO. And then there's the other alternative, and I'm guessing that most people who bought our ITO report so far, or on this webinar, or listen to the CD afterwards, are probably interested in that, where the new materials are going to be applied. And that's what I'm going to spend a lot of my time talking about.